then we'll be able.
It is the 10th of April, Rabbi Furst, Pierke Avos, Pesach.
Lou mentioned, thank you, Lou, as we mentioned, this is Rabbi Shlomo Fati, Yeshiva Samanaki, trying care of Zoom, and Pesach approaching. Nobodikas Chumash is tonight, and we're in the middle of trying to understand the connection. Say Lamed Lovin Shabikesh Laos Okra Sakur. What was the connection between what the Haggadah taught us previously and the going and learning from Lovin? What are we supposed to learn from Lovin? That was the big question. Maybe I think you have the documents there. You want maybe let's recap those last two paragraphs in the Amic Dubber, and then we're going to try and answer with that pasuk I mentioned at the end of the shir yesterday's shir. But it's not going to be such an easy answer as I thought, but we'll try our best. Yeah, do you want to recap those last two paragraphs, Mayor or Lou?
I'm not sure I have, so I'll just have to listen today.
Oh, okay. I'll put it in the meantime. You can begin. I'll put it on the screen. That'll help you out too. Maybe let's start with it. No.
Okay.
Yeah. Uh,
So start.
yeah, go ahead. Please go start. Start, Lou.
וכיוון שרואה כי אם יהיו עוד במצרים ישתחו בעל כך מרוב צרוס. Since he saw that there was more, they were all more in Egypt, submerged
Right.
against their will.
Right. This expression, Kivin Shara, since HaKadosh Baruch Hu saw, Ki im yu od b'Mitzrayim, if they would remain in Mitzrayim anymore, Yishtaku, Bakorcham, they would be submerged, they would be completely swallowed up against their will, Merov Tzoros, because of the tremendous pain and distress they were going through.
Mirov Tzaroch, because of the stress. Our pain, Chashav, Es Chaketz, the Geolam, Lifnei Arba Maos Shane. Therefore, Hashem designed the end of the exile in accordance with the 400 years.
Lifnei Arba Me'esh. Alkin there since Hashem saw that we were so harassed and distressed and abused and subservient to the Galus in Mitzrayim. Had we remained there any longer, we would be swallowed up in Mitzrayim. So therefore, therefore Kadosh Baruch Hu made a consideration of the ultimate time of our redemption before the actual 400 years was up.
Before.
Yeah, Lifnei. That's the Lifnei, before Arba Me'esham, before the 400 years.
Ba'al davar ashara shelo yishtadlu le hashtivas ule hit orev imahem ella yiyu rotzim lios gerim. Concerning the matter of the warning that they should not make efforts to assimilate and to mix with them, with the Egyptians. Rather, it should be their desire to remain strangers. Amar, say ulamad ma bikesh lavan harami vakule. It says, go and learn what Lavan the Aramite attempted to do. Perush shalo tichshov ki ba'im mish ta'arev imahem Yako meitcha ol hagalos. The explanation that one should not consider that if they mixed with them, it would be easy upon them, the yoke of the exile.
Right. We're supposed to be learning from Lovin, right? So this is something crucial when you come to this point in the Haggadah, right? We just got through saying, Visha Amda Lavasenu, Lanu Shlokol, Echad Echad, Nikol Dor Vadur, Omdi Malin Kalasena, Kadosh Baruch Hu Matseinu Biyadam. We just got through saying that, right? I think that's what we is preceding just this next statement of the Haggadah. Say Olamed Milovim, right?
Right.
So sometimes you sing it with a nice niggin, so a nice little song make out of it. So that statement, right? Of Kol Dor V'Dor Omdi Malin L'Kalosenu, that statement is supposed to be verified by what we see with Lovin. The statement of the Lovin, Say Lamed, is supposed to be a verification of the previous statement, I think, no?
Previous statement.
Yeah, Say Lamed, right?
Go and learn. That's the previous statement, or that's the statement of understanding.
Well, it's telling you, go and learn. Go and learn what?
That's a good question.
So what did we just say previous to that? Before the Say Lamed, what did we just say?
We said, it is this that is stood before by our fathers and us. But not only one has risen against us to annihilate us, but in every generation they rise against us to annihilate us. If the Holy One, blessed is He, rescues us from their hand.
Right. Now, how do you know that? Why should that be? How do you know that? So Say Lamed Milovin, you're supposed to learn from Lovin that. Why? What's the lesson that Lovin's teaching us? Well, what's the lesson we learned from Lovin?
Well, seemingly, if you associate with a wicked person, you're going to have trouble.
Okay. Um,
Because Yaakov didn't do anything wrong. He didn't do anything to bring this upon himself. Lovin tricked him and uh, and dealt crookedly with him.
right. Exactly. Yeah, very good.
He was there for good reason. He was there because his mother sent him.
Right.
So he was,
His father too, his mother and his father, they both sent him off there,
they
right?
both sent him. Okay. So he was doing the right thing.
Oh, so now what we've been learning up until now, this whole document which we've been learning and the other document that we learned also, the Torah Samikra, they're both teaching us basically the same principle that there's a promise that a Kadosh Baruch Hu made, right, to Avram Avinu, and that promise. See if you take a look here. Go back to the beginning of the third paragraph from the bottom. Avos zerecha yegeh be'aretz she'eina lehem. Right? Let's just review
I
that
got it now.
paragraph. Yeah. No, in that document, go back to the document, go back to the third paragraph from the bottom,
Yeah.
right? Avos zerecha yegeh be'aretz she'eina lehem.
Right.
So wasn't that the situation that Yaakov Avinu was in?
Um, well, I mean, he was with his relatives.
Yeah, that's true. But he was in the Eretz. He was a stranger. He was a foreigner. He wasn't from that place, and it was not his land. Right? True
Yeah.
that he was with relatives. He married his four wives and had 11 of his 12 sons born there. Right?
Yeah.
But nevertheless, we learned this
You want to
principle
say
that,
that he was assimilating? That was the problem?
well, the question is, what are we supposed to learn from love, and if not? If Yaakov was innocent, right? So why would Reuben try and offer us a call? That's what this third paragraph says, right? You want to read that quick, go through that? Let's review that third paragraph from the bottom.
Okay. Aval zarecha yiyeh ger be'eretz she'eno shelahem. But your offspring will be foreigners in a land that is not theirs. Aval od yesh konos
Okay.
zeh
Kavanas. They're old kavanas. There are kavanas, intentions.
kavanos bezeh ha ma'amar.
In this statement.
There are other intentions in this statement. Chada I'm sorry, habitcha.
Havtacha. One is a promise. One is a promise.
One is a promise. Vishenis azhara, and the second one is a warning. Havtacha he she yish aru Gerim velo yish tachu ba'oma acherim. The promise is that if he remains foreigner and does not assimilate into another nation.
Right, this the hazar. This is a cautioning. This is a directive, right?
No, this is the ha'hiftacha.
Right. Oh, very good. Right. The haftacha is good. Right. The haftacha, the promise is right that they should correct that they should remain foreigners and not be assimilated into another nation.
Shnayim Chinese Azhara, and this is a warning to you, Gerim, below Yishtadalu, the Hishtaka Be'eretz Lo Lahem. Today, Shikol Alehem Hagerus. The warning is that they will be foreigners and they will not make efforts to become submerged in the land that is not theirs, in order that it should be light upon them the gerus,
Like the burden of their exile,
the burden. The warning is they should not do that. They should not submerge themselves in order to lighten the load.
Right.
So the promise is that they should not assimilate. And the warning is they should not assimilate.
Right. So the haftacha, right? The promise, the guarantee is that they will not assimilate, and the warning is don't attempt to assimilate.
Uba al havtacha, when it came to the promise, Lamar Baruch Shomer Havtacha So LiYisrael. We say, blessed is the one who guards his pledge to Israel. Shechashav Es Haketz, that he affirmed the end. Lasos 210, to make it 210 years in order to fulfill this promise.
Oh, okay. So that's what in the Haggadah, right? On the Havtacha that we will be protected from assimilating into the host nations that we have found ourselves in. On that we say Baruch Omar Havtacha Israel, right? Because why? Because Hashem was chashiv esakates that we came out in 210 years instead of 400. If we had remained in 400 years, right, we would have been completely swallowed up in the Mitzri and in Mitzrayim. So Hashem was shomer the K, was chashiv the kates in order to fulfill his havtacha. Understood?
Yep.
So that on that we say in the Haggadah, we say Baruch Shomer Havtachaso Yisrael. Shechashiv indicates that we came out in 210 years, and we therefore Hashem did that in order to fulfill His promise. Now, but what's the point about learning from Lavan? Now let's go back to our that second from the bottom. Let's just review that again, right?
וכיוון שרואה כי אם היו עוד במצרים ישתקעו בעל קרקח מרוב תרוס. And since he saw that if they would be more in Egypt, they become submerged against their will because of the stress. Al pain, therefore, chashav es haketz. Hashem manipulated the end. Ligolam lifnei, to redeem them before Arba Meos Shana, 400 years.
Right. So that was in order to save us from the assimilation we were falling into. Okay. Now, but Al Azar. Now, what about the warning? What about the warning that Hashem gave us that we shouldn't make efforts to assimilate?
Below,
What about
Lahash Tavus Ule His Arev. We should not make efforts to assimilate and to mix imahem with them. Ella Yu Rotzim Lios Gerim. Rather, it should be our desire to remain foreigners. Okay, so Hashem saw that we couldn't make it without help, so He helped us.
right?
He shortened the exile. And concerning the warning that we should not assimilate, but we should desire to remain foreigners, Amar, it says, Tzei Lamad, Ulamad, Ma Bikesh Lavan, Arami, etc. It says, go and learn what Lavan, the Aramite, sought to do. So what does that have to do with it?
Yeah, I think okay.
Yeah. Sorry. I'm back again.
All right, so now we've reviewed it all. I'm still puzzled.
Yeah.
Seems like a non sequitur.
Why?
How does the Levon teach us? I mean, basically, what's saying is Levon teaches us that we shouldn't assimilate. How does he teach us that? Yaakov didn't assimilate. He remained true to Torah.
Right. So look what he says now. He says now. So it says, right, Perish lo tichashev ki. It's like again, it's a warning that you're not supposed to make any efforts to assimilate and mix amongst the host nations that you'll be finding yourselves strangers among. Omar, on that, we say, Tzolim Mebicha Shalom and Rami. This is the lesson which we learn from Lavan, what he wanted to do. What did he want to do? First of all, what does it mean? Perish, that's the last two lines in that second from the last paragraph. Perish, Shalo Techashev, do not think. Ki be'im nis'ar b'mohem yikal me'itcha olagolas. Do not think that if you mix amongst them, it'll become easier your burden of gullus. And on that, say ma bikesh Lavan. On that, you'll learn from what Lavan tried to do to you. Why? The last paragraph. Hello, lo hayiroi she'tov lecha b'gullus yosa mashe im Lavan shu avi enoch. That don't think that it would be any better for you except that gullus that you were experiencing by Lavan, who was the father of your mother, your grandfather. You are being now in gullus with your grandfather. You're going to gullus by your grandfather. That's a tremendous, wonderful thing. If you're destined to go to gullus, right? If you're destined to go to gullus in the best possible way, in the best possible place, to the best possible person. Who was the best possible person you could have been exiled to? Lavan was the best possible person you could have been exiled to. And in spite of that, look what he tried to do to you.
So because Lavan tried to destroy us, we learned that you can't make it easier for yourself, because even if you're in the best situation, it's still bad.
If you're going to try and mix in with them, you could be in the very best situation, but if you're going to try and mix into them, it's going to be reversed. The situation is going to be reversed. Take a look. Let's finish the paragraph here.
V'harei hu bikesh la'akor es hakol.
He was interested in destroying everything. He wanted to destroy everyone, everything.
Umizeh Talmud asher he she'amda lanu ula avosenu shelo acher echad bilvad imo imecha ula lechulo senu. And from this, we learn that he stood to us and to our forefathers, that there should not be one alone that stood for all of us.
That okay, Talmud, from this it is learned. This is that for this is learned that Hashem stood by us. And for Avosenu, Shelo Echad Bavad, it was just not only one Omed Aleinu L'Kalosenu. It's not just one that rose up against us to destroy us. Ella,
Hakadosh Baruch Hu Matzilenu Miyadam. But Hashem rescued us from their hand. Aval Hema Mivakshim Lechalosenu Shehu Bishvio She'anu Mivakshim lehis arev imahem. But this that he sought to destroy, that Shahu Bishvil, that he was for himself.
Bishvil is because. Avo Hema Mivakshim, however, those that Mivakesh, that they seek to destroy us, Avo those who seek to destroy us, Shu Bishvil, it is because. Why is it that they seek to destroy us? Bishvil, because, Sha'anu, because we, Mivakshim, the Orev Imahem.
We sought to mix with them.
Because we sought to mix with them. So now, so again, we'll repeat the original question. So therefore, where is the limit from Lovin? Because if this is the principle you're trying to teach us, that when we seek to assimilate, our host nations will seek to destroy us. And you'll learn out from Lovin that, look, Lovin tried to destroy us, right? That's clear. Lovin tried to destroy us. So, okay, Lovin tried to destroy us, but where, in fact, did we see, or where can we try and understand how Yaakov Avinu was somehow making efforts to assimilate, associate with Lovin? We don't have the other component of the formula. The formula is you desire to assimilate, they'll rise up against you to destroy you. That's the formula, right? So by Laman we see he sought to destroy us. But where do we see the first part of the formula? That we sought to assimilate. So to answer that question, that's where we left off yesterday. There's a pasuk in Bereshis. So we have a Chumash Bereshis there.
Okay.
Right. That if you look in Pierke Lamed Hey, chapter 35, chapter 35.
Okay.
Start with the first pasuk. You can start with the first pasuk.
Hashem said to Yaakov, arise, go up to Bethel and dwell there, and make an altar there to Hashem, who appeared to you when you fled from Esav, your brother. So Yaakov said to his household and to all who were with him, discard the alien gods that are in your midst. Cleanse yourselves and change your clothes. Then let us arise and go us up to Bethel. I will make there an altar to Hashem, who answered me in my time of distress and was with me on the road that I traveled. So they gave to Yaakov all the alien gods that were in their possession, as well as the rings that were in their ears. And Yaakov buried them underneath the elm near Shechem. They journeyed, and there was a.
That's good. That's good enough. That's good enough. So what is going on here?
Well, clearly we had backslid into idol worship.
Right. So you see there was some, as you say, backsliding. There was backsliding here. So now, look at Rashi. Rashi in it's pasuk base, the second pasuk.
Alien gods. which are in your possession from the booty of Shechem. Oh, so they didn't bring them with them. They got them from Shechem. Cleanse yourselves of idols.
Right.
Change your clothes, lest there be in your possession a garment of idolatry.
So, yeah, how is it supposed to be understood? I mean, okay, it's clear from Rashi, right, that they got them from Shechem, right? Okay, so
Right.
mashma that they didn't have them beforehand, right?
Right.
So it clearly, if they had it beforehand, so meaning when they were in still by loving, so you could say, well, there was backsliding. But in the light of Rashi, that he's saying they got them from Shechem, it's not so clear that it was actually backsliding. What is it?
Well, maybe they just were greedy, but they didn't want to worship them.
Right. I mean, they could have value, right?
Right.
And they probably didn't take the rabbit's foot. You know what I mean?
Right. It was probably the silver and gold that they were interested in.
Yeah, something worthwhile. Nevertheless, the the fact that they were idols, Kadosh Baruch Hu's or Yaakov Avinu, apparently Yaakov Avinu on his own, because Hashem didn't tell him to do this. Apparently, this was something Yaakov Avinu himself said on his own. Apparently, so
You could ask, how did he know that they had them? It must be that there was some indication of
right,
going on.
yeah, you know, could be,
Must have been some idol worship going on for Yaakov Avinu to see what was happening.
yeah, and the question is, did he initially did he allow it, right? Was this initially allowed, and then so I say sufficient to say that they didn't spurn them, meaning, like you said, they probably took the gold and the silver. So let's say they're taking it for the value of the gold and the silver, but still, why did they have an aversion to the avodah zarah? If they recognize them as being halilim, right, idols, so they should have had an aversion to the avodah zarah, which was perhaps somewhat lacking.
Maybe they felt superior to the people of Shechem, and they figured out that we're not susceptible to this.
Yeah. Look, I mean, we have to realize. Remember the statement. Let's see here. That's in Parshas Toldos. Parshas Toldos. Um, 2 seconds. Take a look in Perek Kaf Vav 26, Perek 26, Pasuk Lamed Daled, Lamed Daled and Lamed Hey.
When Esav was 40 years old, he took as a wife Judith, the daughter of Beri the Hittite, and Basmath, daughter of Elyon the Hittite. And they were a provocation of the Spirit to Isaac and to Rebekah.
What does Rashi say there?
Rashi says, 40 years old, Esau had been compared to a swine. As it says, the swine of the woods shall devour it. This swine, when he lays down, stretches forth his hooves, as if to say, see that I am pure. Go to these descendants of Esau, i.e. the Romans, rob and take forcibly, and display themselves as if they are decent. They learned this trait from their forebear Esau. All the first 40 years of his life, Esau would snatch women away from their husbands and violate them. When he became 40 years old, he said, my father married a woman when he was 40 years old. I too will do so.
Good.
A provocation of the spirit. This means rebellion of, i.e., against someone's spirit. This is like Mamrim in You Have Been Rebels. All the actions of Esau's wives were a cause of anguish to Isaac and Rebekah. They worshipped idols.
Hi, Donna, how are you?
Oh, so what you see Yitzhak and Rivka's reaction to the idol worship?
I'm sorry, say it again.
What was the reaction? What is the reaction of Yitzhak and Rivka to the idol worship?
I'm sorry, the reaction of who?
Of Yitzhak and Rivka.
They were unhappy.
Right. Right. Now, by Yaakov, it doesn't say anything about him being unhappy. It said to get rid of him, right?
Right, right. Just says, he said, get rid of them.
Right. But on the other hand, when it comes to Yitzhak and Rivka, it says they're unhappy, but it doesn't say anything about them telling him to get rid of it.
Right.
So that's bothersome to me. Bothersome. So let's take it one step at a time. So at least by Yaakov Avinu, we can say perhaps that the Torah the Torah does not openly make any mention of Yaakov's displeasure over the idol. Apparently he should have perhaps been displeased. But as to whether or not he actually was displeased or not displeased, I don't know. Well, all I do know is that Torah doesn't make any mention about it.
Right.
When it comes to Yitzhak and Rivka, it does make a mention of them being displeased.
Right.
So it could be, I don't know, it's not find a proof for this, but perhaps there was some influence of those 22 years of being by loving. Perhaps there was some influence that rubbed off.
Oh, that's an interesting thought.
And again, I'm saying on a very, very fine level of judgment here. Because again, we have to, again, what are we trying to do? We're trying to find why is Lavan, who sought to destroy everything, he sought to destroy all of Yaakov and his family, even though those were his daughters, they were his daughters and his grandchildren, right?
Right.
Nevertheless, he went ahead and he sought to destroy everything. And that, as we were saying, it should be the result of a effort or desire to assimilate. And the question we're asking was, well, where do we see that Yaakovin in any way, shape, or form attempted to assimilate? Right?
Right. So you're suggesting that maybe this is a hint that he'll become somewhat.
Right. At best, it's a hint. You have to, I need to find some proofs for what I'm saying here. But that might be a possible explanation. Hard to say definitively without finding some real proofs about it. But it's a possibility, because when we need to come up with an answer, what is the proof from Lovin that if we desire to assimilate, they will rise up against us to destroy us? Maybe it could be that Lovin, in spite of the fact that he was our grandfather, he was the grandfather of Yehuda, and Shimon and Levi, and Gad, Naphtali, Asher. He was the grandfather of all of them, and in spite of the fact that he was the father of their mothers, right? Leah and Rachel. In spite of that, he still was motivated to destroy us because of our seemingly, which is not so clear, desire for assimilation. And that goes back to the pasuk. You remember the pasuk we quoted in Tehillim?
I'm sorry, which pasuk?
Okay, that was a pasuk. Let's see if it's brought down in this document. Yes, go back to the very first paragraph. The third line, where if you look on your screen, it's blocked off. Right? Hafek Hashem libam lasone amod. Hashem reversed, turned over their hearts to hate his people.
Right. Right, because they were assimilating. Because we were assimilating, Hashem turned over the hearts of the Egyptians.
Right. So by Yaakov Avinu, we know that the Kadosh Baruch Hu judges the tzaddikim to the very finest degree. So it could be that maybe on Yaakov's level of expected behavior, could be that this was appropriate for Yaakov Avinu.
Except that Lavan began his trickery immediately. He switched Rachel and Leah. That was when Yaakov first arrived, right? He certainly hadn't started observing idol worship at that time.
So,
He had no children, no wives, so it was just him. Surely we can't suspect that he was assimilating already.
right. So therefore, what do we see from this?
Laban was wicked.
Right. Okay. But so in spite of that, so that could be knowing how wicked Laban in fact was, so even though he may be the grandfather of your children, the father of your daughter, of your married wives, in spite of the fact of all those things, he's still very wicked. So apparently we still have to be cautious, right? Not to assimilate or to desire to assimilate in any way, shape, or form, which could be on Yaakovinu's Madrega, that could have been a very slight possibility.
Uh-huh.
Okay, I'm just trying to put that together. All right, that's about our time for now. Now, okay, tomorrow Erev Shabbos, the Erev Pesach. Shabbos is Erev Pesach. Of course, we've learned a little bit of the halachas which are relevant to that. If you want, I guess we can the Shreifus Chametz. Shreifus Chametz doesn't have to be done so early. You have until Chatzos to do Shreifus Chametz. If you want, we can try and put time in between, say, 9:30 and 10:30 doing that.
Okay, let's give it a try. We'll play it by ear. It might be too hard, but let's give it a try.
Okay. If for some reason we can't, so just give me an email for a heads up, so I can coordinate also. Because as you know,
Okay.
there'll be plenty to do tomorrow for everybody. Baruch Hashem.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you, Rabbi.
All right, and let's see
Okay.
on Chol Hamoed. Let's see. We'll have to think about Chol Hamoed at a possible time. And it might be later. Okay,
Right.
let's think. Send me an email with the possibilities of what might be good timing on Chol Hamoed.
Okay, sounds good.
Very good. Okay, both have a wonderful day, Mitzvah Shem. Hope to see you hopefully tomorrow.
Okay, you too.
You
Have a
too,
great
Rabbi.
day.
Shalom.
See you, Mayor.
Okay, bye now, Lou.